Well, welcome everyone. I am Rebecca Snyder, the Executive Director of Executive Alliance, and I am delighted to welcome you here today for our penultimate session in the Retool and Reframe series. We'll finish up March 16th with Dr. Stephanie Knight from the University of Maryland Medical System talking about self-care during COVID. But today we are talking with Gina Ramsey of Pink Dog Digital, and she is going to share how to present our best selves on video, which is, so prepping for this was a little stressful. I think we all felt like we had to comb our hair and make sure we didn't look too out of control. And Gina's going to help us learn the tips and tricks of Zoom and other video presentation platforms. She also, in her spare time, is the president of Pink Dog Digital. And Gina has been involved in digital media since 2006. And her role allows her to help businesses grow through their digital footprint. And her services include website development, search engine optimization, content creation, social media management, and consulting in digital ad campaigns. And Gina's team also is the architect of Executive Alliance's social media platforms and campaigns, as well as designing and relaunching our website. So thank you so much for being here today, Gina. And I'll turn it over to you. And I'm sorry, just one housekeeping thing. I'll monitor chat and things like that. I think we're a small enough group that you can pipe in with questions, but if you need anything, feel free to use the chat and I'll make sure questions get addressed that way as well. And to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. There's a lot of friendlies in the room, so this should be pretty easy. Don't hold your questions till the end. There's enough of us, or few enough of us, that we can just have a conversation. And I'm going to address three areas: settings for Zoom, camera, and how you're positioned in front of your camera. And then if we get to it, and I know this isn't something for everybody, but if we get to it, I'm even going to talk a little bit about makeup, because there are some do's and there are some do nots with makeup. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, if I can figure out how to do this. And, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be able to. Wait. Yes, I can.
I can see it.
So, you got it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So one of the first things I want to mention is that there's a difference between the browser version and the app, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the app on your phone. You can download the app to your desktop. Some of the functionality that's available in the app isn't available in the browser version. So you may not see some of these things. Michelle looks confused already. No. Okay. If you're not seeing everything that I'm seeing, it's because you don't have the app downloaded. Good? Okay. So the first thing I want to make a recommendation is make sure you add a profile picture. It is under the video settings, under your settings, under profile. It looks so much better to have a picture than just your name typed across a black box when you're not on camera. So if you don't have your image uploaded, please do that. Pretty simple.
Gina,
Yep.
You may be able to solve a mystery, because I do have a profile pic, but on some Zooms, it doesn't show up. And I'm assuming that's because the host has determined that they don't want pictures. Is that correct?
A lot of it depends on bandwidth, Donna. So if the bandwidth is wonky and there's a lot of people, sometimes the videos just get shut off as well as the pictures to maximize the audio.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So make sure you add that profile picture if you don't have it in there. Sometimes it'll show, sometimes it won't. There's a variety of settings that could cause it. If you go to the video setting, there's a fun little button here called Touch Up My Appearance. It's been there for a minute, but it now has this fun little slider where you can determine just how much help you need. And I need a lot of help.
You
so-
mean Botox?
Exactly, Kathy.
Can you do that? Can you do that while you're on the Zoom?
You can. So all of you guys can do all of this while we're sitting here talking, as long as you've got the right, you're using the app, you'll see
Right.
all of this. They have the same thing here. This is new for adjust for low light. You can either put it in auto, or you can use, again, the fun little slider to touch up that lighting issue. And we're going to talk a little bit about lighting a little bit later.
Hey, Gina, I think, the dumbest question.
Not at
how
all.
do we know if we have the app? Like, I think I always just go through my browser, but
Click on
how do I
backgrounds and
download it?
filters
Okay.
and click video filter. If you see these fun little video filters, then you've got the app.
Interesting. Okay.
This,
All right.
this
And I
is where
don't
you
think
want
I
to
do. So how do
remember before you go to the next Zoom call to get rid of your filters, so the judge doesn't think you're a cat. In video, and I have to find this guy. Always show the video preview before you join a meeting, so you're not on there like staring down at the camera or finishing chewing a pizza sandwich or whatever. It gives you a minute to take a look at what you look like to ensure you know what other people are seeing. You can add the backgrounds. And if you are using a background, so Elizabeth is a great example. If she had mirror my video on right now, Elizabeth Cooney would be backwards. So when you're using a video background that has writing on it, make sure you turn off the mirror my background, or it will flip around on the screen. Okay. Another one, I'm going through this really quickly, so we might just have a lot of networking. A new thing that is available under audio is to suppress your background noise. Again, you can let the system do it, or you can choose low, medium, or high. If you are that girl that is typing while you're sitting in a meeting, make sure it's on high. If you've got dogs like I do, make sure it's on high. It's amazing how well that works. And we talked a little bit about the filters. There's a lot of them here. They're super fun. You can have a good time with them. Just make sure when you go to your next call, you take it off so you don't look like the cat in front of the judge. So here I'm going to stop sharing because this is going to be kind of show and tell. And I want you all to do this while we're talking through it so you can see what I'm talking about. First thing is make sure that the light is hitting you from the front, not from the back. If you've got light coming in the back, all you're going to be is a dark screen or dark face on the screen. If it's coming across the side of your face, every flaw you see on yourself will be amplified by 8,000. So have a light directly in front of you. It should be at eye level or above, looking down on you. There are a number of options. I've got a ring light on a tripod because it has a phone holder. So if I'm using both, these are also super easy options. They just clip to your computer. And they all have different light. Some of them are pink, some of them are white, some of them are a little bit more yellow. Play with it because it changes during the day. different times of the day, the light's going to come in, the natural ambient light's going to come in differently. You may need to darken your light. You may need to brighten it. So just make sure it's positioned directly in front of you and maybe a little above. If you don't have a ring light, a regular lamp would be fine with a filtered shade. You don't want a big old light bulb glaring at your face, because the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to see nothing but your forehead, your nose, and your chin. You're just going to look giant in there with that light bulb. So make sure there's a nice shade on it. If you're using a regular lamp, make sure your bulb is daytime balanced or LED. Cooler colors rather than the warm colors you like in your living room. You want the more blue tones than you want the yellow or orange tones, because then you just really look sallow and not good. Make sure your computer light is turned up all the way. So in your settings on your laptop, go into it and turn that light up all the way, because that will also throw light at your face. Don't use so much light that you look washed out.
And when you said the light on the computer, you mean the brightness, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, turn that guy all the way up. Sometimes if you're not on your cord, it goes to a lower brightness mode. So if you're not using the cord and you're going on a Zoom call, make sure you go in and check that brightness setting to ensure that it's all the way up. This one is the one that everybody, I should say, many people do wrong. Make sure your camera and your eyes are level. You don't want to be looking down or having people look up into you, especially as we get older. You got all this stuff going on and it just crunches down and you look like you've got 32 chins. If you've got to use a book, if you've got to use a stand, whatever you have to do, but the worst place to put it is in your lap, because then everybody's looking up into you. And again, as I'm talking through these things with you guys, play with your screen, because you will be amazed at how some very subtle adjustments make a big difference in how you look on the screen. Susan, you look like you have a question. Okay, I just saw the hand up. You don't want people seeing up your nose. Get that computer where you need it to be. Here's where women have to be super careful. Go ahead, Rebecca.
I have a question more about lighting. So I'm looking at me because, you know, I'm trying to make sure I look okay. I feel like I'm blowing out some of my features. I have my light here and it's kind of like, I feel it's bright, but how do I get it not to be so bright? And is some of it just a function of like what other people's displays look like?
No. So
okay.
Assume that whatever you look like, everybody else sees you the same way. If you've got the light over here, as you motioned, is it directly in front of your laptop or is it to the side?
No, it's off to the side. It's like
That's
literally
the problem.
right.
So you're getting something called raking light, which means that light is raking across your face. The other things that you can do, if you want,
you can
right
see
here.
that, Rebecca, that it looks like it's, when I'm looking at you, it looks like it's coming from the right.
Yeah, you want it directly.
So then it needs to be right
where your camera is. And most of these lights have multiple settings, so you just may need to play with it. So like mine, you can see depending on what setting I have, it changes. The other thing you can do is turn the light down on your computer. If it's all the way up and you feel like you're washed out, try turning that all the way down.
Gina, the light on your computer, is that only going to affect you if the computer's open? So I mean, I've got it connected to a monitor, so that's not going to make a difference.
No, but you can change. Yeah. Sometimes you've got multiple settings, but definitely if you can play with that. And I would say, Rebecca, you are a little washed out. So you you could also just push the light back a little bit. Hi, ladies that
Oh, I'm
jumped
gonna have to
on.
try that.
Hey,
The Karen show.
hi Gina.
How are ya? We're being recorded, so whatever you guys missed at the beginning, you guys will be able to pick up.
I actually have been listening. I just haven't been on. I've been in the car, so now I'm
cool.
stationary.
So
So now I've got to remember all the things you've told us to do.
I've got it notes, so if somebody wants them, I can send Rebecca my notes. Here's the one that's the most challenging for women, and I'll explain it. Whatever is closest to the monitor is going to appear the largest. So if you've got your monitor tipped down and you're sitting back, all of a sudden you are nothing but boobs. That's all anyone sees. Your head looks teeny tiny and your chest looks ginormous. So make sure you're sitting, sorry, can I say boobs? Is that okay? It's girls.
Totally fine.
Make sure you're sitting forward so your head is normal and this is not giant. I was on a call with a dear friend of mine the other day, and I hadn't seen her in person, and I thought, oh my God, has she gained a lot of weight, because she was just filling the screen. And then I realized it was the way that her monitor was tilted. So tilt your monitor towards you and lean into it so that they're focusing on your head, not your chest. Play with it. Go on. You guys can do it. This one is going to be hard for those of us that like to multitask. Your computer should be arm's length away from you. You should be able to type, but not easily. Because if it's closer than that, you're giving everybody all of the face. You're getting the giant forehead, you're getting the giant nose, you're getting the giant chin. So everybody, like, play with their monitor, open it up, push it back, see how visually they change. One of the ways that you can consciously stay forward is to put a pillow behind you. I happen to have a 12-pound dog that bites. She really encourages me to stay forward. The other thing is, make sure you look at what's going on behind you. If it's clean, everyone knows it's COVID, it's cool. But Michelle and I were on a call a couple of days, 2 weeks ago, and some guy had this creepy doll behind his head. And it was impossible. I don't even know who he was or what he did. The only thing I could concentrate on was that creepy doll. So if you don't have the opportunity to frame your background with what you've got going on, use a fake background. The other reason for the desk to be, or the computer to be arm's length away from you, is for those fake backgrounds. Because if they're any closer, then the green screen cuts your head off and you look kind of weird. Make sure you get comfortable with the screen being as far, that far away from you. It's hard. Like, I've got dogs and cats, they get into the screen, it's COVID, you're going to do that. But there's some things that I've seen on these screens that I never want to see again. Don't be that girl.
Gina,
Yes.
Gina, can I share?
Yes,
So,
please, Karen.
I work for a women's organization, lots of feminists. And one meeting that I had, there's a woman with beautiful feminist artwork on her wall. Beautiful. One of them are naked breasts, and it's over her shoulder. And every time we have the meeting, I'm like, I can't look at anything else.
Right. That's exactly right, Karen.
It's the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen in my life, but it's so
still breasts. Nobody wants to have a meeting while they're looking at that. Like, I agree. And Michelle and I still laugh about the creepy doll in the guy's office. So even though it's COVID, try and frame your space and make sure that where you're sitting, Lisa, I wasn't yelling at you. You looked fine now.
Oh, well, one of the things I was trying, thank you. It's interesting. I reverse my Now I guess I figured how to get back to it. I reversed my screen because when I or mirror my video, because look, my head, if I'm this way, my head looks straight. If I don't mirror my video, my head gets a slant to it. I can't figure that out.
Yeah, I mirror it only when I don't have a background.
Yeah, so if I use the background, I can, but I was just trying. Now what you mentioned about your head going away, I mean, what I don't like about the backgrounds is, you know, that thing where you're going in and out.
Well, that's why you want the screen an arm's length away, because the Zoom was built for that spacing. So you're going to get optimal video one arm's length away.
See my screen, okay, because my screen is an arm's length away right now. It's more than an arm's length away.
Well, that's better. It's the closer you get, the worse it gets. So if you move your face to the screen, you're going to like cut off your head.
I hate how I look. So
well, there's been more plastic surgeons that have made mad bank during COVID than ever before. I mean, let's.
Yeah, but I can't figure out the tilting thing. So anyway, I'm just going to go back. So, you know, that's like, yes, because I kept finding, I was like trying to move my head when I was on these screens, trying to straighten my head out.
Yeah, no, it's the green screens bother me. I just keep it real. What I would say for you is right now, to me, you look a little low.
Oh, okay.
Where's your camera?
It is on the top of my monitor.
Which is where?
It's
like
which
up here?
is in front of, well, it's right in front of me. So
whatever you just did, you did better.
Okay, so I set up in my chair.
There you go.
I could lower it a little. I can adjust the camera. So I mean, I could push it down a little bit, something like that, so you get more of the chest. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect.
Great.
You just ideally you want to cut it off here if you can, so that people are looking at the important part of you, not those parts of you.
Okay.
Any questions so far on settings and camera position? Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about makeup. I know a lot of the ladies in the room don't wear makeup, but I'm going to go there anyhow in case you decide to get crazy one day and pull out all the stops. Be careful, Kathy and her lipstick. Be careful with your foundation. Make sure it's not a dewy foundation. Make sure it's a matte foundation or you put powder on it. Anything with the words dewy or glowy or whatever, you're just going to be a big old shine fest. Your face is just going to shine and shine and shine, and it's going to be distracting. And it's also going to make whatever is shiny look larger. I keep powder in my desk because I turn this thing on and my nose looks like it's filling the entire screen. And the minute you put a little bit of, you know, oil canceling powder or whatever on it, it just shrinks everything down. Make sure your neck, your chest, and your face all match. I cannot tell you how many times I have gotten onto a Zoom and I see this lily white neck and then a tan face. Not good. I mean, not good in general, but definitely not good on Zoom, because think about it, that's all they're seeing. So take a step back and look at what your coloring looks like. Another reason to sit up, it shows less of the chest. So even if there is a color disparity, you don't see it as much. Use mascara and liner if you like it. But if you use eyeshadow, make it super neutral. You don't want people to see your eyeshadow, that you want people to see your eyes. I happen to have eyeshadow on today because I've got a in real life meeting. Yay. But I haven't worn eyeshadow on Zoom since the beginning of this, because all you could, it recessed my eyes, number one, and it made me look like I was sleeping. And number two, all you could see was the eyeshadow. You can use contour to help what everybody perceives they look like on Zoom. a little bit darker here along the jawline, perhaps here, but make sure you blend it. None of us want to look like a drag queen on Zoom. And with the light coming full on in your face, that can happen. I like a lipstick that's a little bit more than your natural lip color, particularly with some of these lights that will wash you out a little bit. Your lips blend into your face. So again, I don't want somebody to see my lips unless, like Christina Snyder, those of you that know Christina, she wears a red lip all the time. If she went away from a red lip, I'd be concerned about it.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies with darker skin can get away with more makeup. So I can wear a little bit more than someone like Vonda, who's got beautiful creamy white skin. I'm a little bit more olive, so I can wear a little bit more. So judge your, and Donna's got great red lips on now. Judge your skin tone. Don't let people see your makeup. Let people see your face. Let people see how beautiful you are. And I mean, I don't have a whole lot more, but what I want to say is we're all beautiful, every single one of us. So don't get hung up in this Zoom. I look terrible, blah, 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 blah. You're beautiful. Just use the camera, use the lighting to emphasize your natural beauty, and don't get hung up on what you think you look like. Don't listen to the noise in your head. You're all gorgeous. That's like pretty much what I have today. Any questions, comments? Kathy?
Yeah, so I have to wear glasses so I can see everyone. When I take them off, I think I look better, but I can't see anything and I can't see. So, but then I have the glare on my glasses. So is there anything in that?
No, nothing you can do about it unless you get the anti-glare lenses from, and they're $8 gazillion.
Yeah, it's not even that though. They don't last. They like start to peel and you know what I mean? Like they're not, I don't think they're made very well. I've had them.
Yeah.
So
I have the same problem.
Yeah.
What if you sat a little farther back? Would that make a difference to it?
I don't think so. I don't think it makes a difference. But maybe I should change my lighting. I just have natural light coming in from the window.
Oh, okay. That tells me. So you need a filter on the window. Do you have curtains on the window?
Yeah, we have curtains just on the sides, but then I do have blinds, so I'm trying to turn those down a little bit.
The other thing they have that I think is brilliant. I don't know if any of you have seen them. They're,
doesn't make a difference.
You know, like the boards that you write on, the paper boards, flip boards, whatever the hell they're called. They have shades for your window that are like a flip board. They're
that you pull up.
No, they're just a piece of paper. They're like like the honeycomb blinds, but it's a piece of paper and you just stick it up there and then you can pull it off and it filters the light beautifully. That would help you, Kathy, because you're just getting all that natural light right in the face.
Yeah.
So I did buy a ring light, but I found, I was trying it on the side because my monitor's sort of big. And so I couldn't, the stand wasn't high enough to put it above the monitor. So I'm just using I'm in the dining room, so I just use the chandelier, but it didn't seem to help me.
You may want to try one of these, Kathy. I mean, Lisa, they just clip.
What are those?
Oh, okay. Clip on top of the monitor. Okay. You have to see if mine does it. Does it? Yeah.
It was $17 at Amazon.
Yeah, they're not very expensive.
No, and they're really good. The only problem I have is they're at 11 o'clock. The sun's right here in this window.
Yeah.
And if I put on the ring light, then I'm completely washed out. So you can go buy those shades. They're like $3 and you can put them on and take them off. And if you rip them, you buy another one. And that'll help the raking light coming in from the side. They're brilliant.
Yeah, the other thing I did was buy a Logi webcam, which was also not very expensive.
Yeah.
And that was a much better picture than particularly my work computer, which doesn't have the best picture.
Well, and that's the other thing. Sometimes you need to use outside webcams, outside audio. Like I have a laptop downstairs. Unless I call in on the phone, I can't use it with a headset. I can't use it with anything. It's terrible. So you may need to invest in a pair of earbuds. You may need to invest in another camera. You may need to, look at another laptop. I mean, it depends. I have this one strictly for Zoom. I can't use the other one at all.
Gina, I have a question for you. This is Pam. Good morning.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. You were talking about, this is going back to using the browser versus using the app. I
Yes, ma'am.
always go in using the browser. So I learned something, but the little symbol, I have that little blue symbol on my computer. So if I go in there, and I wasn't able to open that while you were talking. So if I go in there, I should have all the filters and everything, because that's what I'm missing on the browser. I don't
Yes,
have the
ma'am.
fun filters. Okay.
Well, and it's funny because when I was doing the research for this, everybody was like, oh, make sure that you're upgraded to the most recent Zoom. Click on the picture in the right-hand corner and it'll tell you. And I'm clicking on that and I'm not seeing anything that they're saying. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? This is my job. This is what I do. Why can't I find it? And then I went out to the app store, found the app, and boom, then I had the filters.
Okay. That's helpful, because I thought it was my operating system also. I thought I was having problems. Okay.
No, it's not. It's poorly explained in the Zoom tutorials. So for those of you that jumped on a little bit later, there is a difference between the app and the browser. Make sure you download the app to your desktop so that you can have the full range of functionality that we talked about at the beginning.
So Gina, does that mean then when I go, like when I go on a Zoom, I just go to my calendar and I click on the link from my calendar, and would I then pick up the app or would I pick up the browser?
It'll automatically pick up the app, Karen.
Okay, that was my question. So as long as you have the app on your laptop, then anytime, like today, I just was in my email, clicked on the calendar invite, I'm okay because I have the app on my computer.
Yep, and it'll default to that unless you specify go to the browser.
Okay.
How do I change that? Because I click on the link, it goes to the browser and then says, do you want to open the app? How do I get it to automatically open the app?
There should be a little checkbox there that should say always use app.
Okay.
And does that give better quality as well, or will it just depend?
I think it's much better quality. And I also think that you have less video problems on the app.
Okay.
So,
Hey, Gina, could you talk two things? Like, what if you have an overhead fluorescent light showering down unflattering, painful light? Karen's feeling me right here. And then secondly, I was noticing, and I'll be the cautionary tale for today, I'm wearing like a checked shirt, which I remember like you never wear that on TV. So could you talk about like maybe patterns or colors that you just shouldn't do?
yep.
And you're welcome for me like looking as crazy as I do. I'm exhibit A on what not to wear. So
So we'll talk about all that. So Karen, I feel you with the overhead light. And this is totally aside from any of this. I have a client that does something called Erlen syndrome therapy, which, long story short, different people see things different colors. Elizabeth could probably explain it better than me.
No, you're right. They say different colors, and that's just you're tipping it. I probably am not going to be the best person to walk through the rest of it, but you're right.
Well, so long story short, she told me, because I was having a lot of headaches and you're good. Headaches and migraines. She said, turn off the overhead light in your office and put a regular light in there. The headaches went away immediately.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's something you can do, Karen, but I would never turn that overhead light on, Zoom or not, because it just messes with you. If you could get regular lamps in there, whether they're stand-up lamps or desktop lamps, you're going to feel better and you're going to look better on camera. Going back to what you should wear, number one, what's in your background? So if I have a shirt that's exactly this pink that I put on for Mentoring Monday, and I looked like a floating head because I had just melted into my background. So be conscious of what is behind you so you don't just blend in. Patterns are always going to make you look larger. So again, if you've got that camera angle weird and you've got a horizontal pattern on, your chest is going to look this big. So if you're going to wear a pattern, make it a vertical pattern, make it a small print, but solid colors are always going to be better on camera than a pattern. Several of you ladies have scarves on. Again, you've got to be cautious of where you're in the camera, because if the scarf is taking up half of it, sit up taller so you can see yourself and your scarf, not just the focal point becomes the scarf. The other thing that I've seen is a lot of people are wearing these blue blocker glasses. Those make your whole face look blue. Because that's what they are. So if you don't want to look alienish, think about dropping the blue blockers when you're on the Zoom calls. The other thing that I see a lot of is crazy, insane jewelry, like a giant necklace and giant earrings and then bangles and stuff. Like pick one. Like Donna's got beautiful statement earrings on. That works. But if she had on earrings and a headband and bracelets and 42 rings, it gets really distracting. So simple, less is more. Be aware of what you got going on. Kate, you had said you had a bunch of questions, or you were anxious to be here for this. Did we cover some of the things that you wanted to hear?
Yeah. I need to clean up my office, but I'm in the process of moving out of my office and moving out of my mom's house. So I got stuff everywhere. So I'm going to have to put a sheet or something behind me.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah. Thanks for the makeup tips. I was interested in that. I have a ring light, but it always reflects off my glasses. So I have to figure out where's the best place to put it. I think if I put it over the computer, it's best.
Yeah. And sometimes, and it's a yay boo, using your phone is better because you can put it in the holder on the ring light and then everything's positioned perfectly. The problem is then you can't see the other people on the call. So it just depends on whether you need to see the other people on the call. I kind of prefer it because I like all your faces.
Gina, I've heard a rumor that you can, oh, and Karen, I'm sorry to step over you. But I've heard that you can, if a lot of times with Zoom, you're just like watching yourself and getting into that death spiral of like, oh my gosh, do I really look that way? Is there a way to hide yourself and just see everyone else?
If you go up in views, the best way to do that is go into speaker view so that you're only seeing the person that is talking and then everybody else is in thumbnail, but you really can't avoid it. One of the tips
Gina, you can actually, if you go up into your own box, there is a drop-down menu that includes hide self-view.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I just did that. Now how do I turn it off?
Go back and do the same thing.
But where am I?
Look, you're probably in the bottom.
Yep, I didn't even know that. So there you go. Thank you, Donna.
Is that on everyone's? Because I don't see that. It's in view?
Go in the top, no, go to the top corner of your little box, Kathy, and click the three little dots.
Oh, those. Okay, got it.
Oh, wow.
And Lisa, to get you
Hide
back,
self-view. I like that.
Go up to view, you can show self view again.
I like that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A
I see
report
it.
and a
Thank you.
board meeting.
That's neat.
One of the things that I tell people to do though, is look at your camera. If you look down at the screen, again, you're looking down at the screen and you're just getting this giant long nose. So if you look at the camera, number one, you can't see yourself. And number two, you're keeping your face at the perfect angle to the camera. One of the other things that some people know and some people don't know is when you're on mute, if you hit the space bar, you can talk and it takes it off of mute for a second. And then when you release it, it automatically goes to mute. So you don't have to keep flipping in and out of mute. You can just do it for when you're making that comment.
Oh, that's.
You've all got your names in there and that's awesome. If you are flipping between friend Zoom and business Zoom, make sure you check what name you have up there. All of you guys know Angie, not talking tails out of school, but she did a video night and she came on the BBB board call and she had her video team name in her nameplate and it was very funny and relatively appropriate, but you know. The other thing I like is Michelle has got her company name where her name is. The only problem with that is the more people you get in the room, it cuts it down. So you may lose your business name. The other thing that I have seen people put next to their names, and I think Karen, I've seen you do this, is your preferred pronouns. So if that's something that is, resonates with you, I've seen that as a best practice as well.
Gina?
Yes, ma'am.
You talked about looking at the camera. What do you do with, and if you already talked about this, I'll just watch the video from the beginning, but what do you do with your notes? I have notes that I'm looking at. Sometimes I have a whole script that I'm looking at. And I feel like everyone sees me going like this, or my eyes, or I can't see, and I'm like this, and that sort of stuff.
So what I do when I have speaking engagements where I have to be on like that is I set up 2 computers. And I've got a laptop with my notes and a laptop, and I try and get them as close together. So I'm just shifting my head a little bit.
Okay.
If you don't have a second laptop, an iPad will do. The other thing that I'll do is I have if I know I need printed notes, number one, I print them out so that I can see them from Mars on a clear day if I need to. And I have a recipe clip that's like a frame with a clipboard clip, and I'll set that next to my desk and read directly.
I'll have this.
Yep, that guy.
And I can put it right in front of you. Like, you can't see that now, right?
No,
it's right in front of me. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of little tools.
If there's any secrets there.
No, someday they're going to wind up having where they have chat and they have participants. They're going to have a thing where you can put a script in there. They just haven't refined the technology yet, but that's coming. I'm sure of it.
Okay.
So I'm mindful of time, and thank you, Gina, and thank you everyone for your questions. We probably have time for 1 or 2 more very short things. It's just about 9:15. Any other burning questions that you wanted to ask, Gina? Well,
thank you for the opportunity.
Exactly. I feel really well armed to go into my next Zoom. So thank you very much for helping us all look a little bit better. So, and thank you all for coming out and spending.
It was great, Gina.
It was really good. Thanks.
Be helpful. Thanks,
Thank
Gina.
you.
Terrific. And I will send the recording out to the group. So if you came in a little bit late, don't fret. Or if, there's tips and tricks that you missed, you'll be able to listen to it again. For Executive Alliance members, just want to remind you that our member meeting is tomorrow at 5:30. We will have some short networking time in the beginning, brief updates on committees, and then our speaker is Kathleen Vance from My Cleaning Service. And Friday, we have our first Friday lunch, so come on and chat and chew with Tracy M. On Friday at noon. So looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.